Trump's lawyer, and this is something, he was on CBS, and this guy is not a conservative, mind you.
Right.
Since this guy has been part of the defense team of Donald Trump, he's had his workplace vandalized. People have tried to get to his house.
Wow.
And this is what happens. You have
Peaceful.
people who aren't, sort of like with, you've had this a little bit, Brian Callen, like you were never really outwardly political. You're still not. But when people could smell on you that you were more conservative, all of a sudden the attacks start coming in because it's wrong think.
Yeah.
So Michael van der Veen went through that. And I don't know if before this interview he would have thought of media bias, but he saw it occurring in real time with the CBS reporter, and he went scorched earth on her when she tried to misrepresent his claim. Watch this. It's the best thing you'll see all day.
Because they hadn't done any investigation, they doctored evidence. It was absolutely shocking.
What you're talking about now is a check mark. That's a verification on Twitter that did not exist on that particular tweet. A 2020 that should have actually read 2021, and the selective editing, you say, of the tapes. Is that the doctored evidence of what you're speaking?
Wait. That's not enough for you? That's not enough for you?
Wait. No. I'm not a juror in this trial. What I'm trying to be clear for our viewers is what you're referring to, because not everybody has been following.
It's not okay
not everybody,
to doctor a little bit of evidence.
Respectfully.
A slanted question that was set up to say it's okay for them to cheat. That was your question. Isn't it okay for them to cheat?
I didn't say that.
It's just a little bit. You said, to be fair, it was only a check on the Twitter. That's what you said.
Michael van der Veen.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I do appreciate.
But did she say, to be fair?
I see you taking off your microphone now.
Yeah, we didn't include it in that clip. She said she said something like, to be fair, what you're trying to draw attention to, or what your. She said something that was kind of belittling it.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 minutes of that.
Put it this way: if Donald Trump had just added fake evidence,
oh my God,
the guy'd be behind bars.
Yeah,
it was. And let me go through some of this fake evidence. Why this guy was so mad? Because they didn't even. By the way, they changed their tack with the trial. The first day, they were talking about how it was unconstitutional, and then after we presented this on the show, actually, I think that day or the next morning, the fake tweets and the screen grabs, they started presenting that in the court. Do you know that lawyer, Trump's lawyer, got that night? He got the evidence that night. So we were able to catch it before he was, because we were watching the stream. He hadn't received that evidence yet.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Really? That's how insane it was. He said, yeah, you sent us the evidence and those screen grabs that night. And they say, Donald Trump doesn't want to take part in the process. This is a sham process. You didn't send them the evidence. They don't have time to go, oh, wait a second, this is a fake tweet. This is a lie.
Did the House managers know that it was a fake tweet?
Yes.
And so who are the House managers, by the way? Why are all the people driving the narrative just anonymous folk?
Yeah, people
they were there at the trial. I don't know.
Even know what a House manager is.
Raskin.
That guy, Raskin?
Yeah, and Patrick Leahy was overseeing. So here you go, actually. We can bring this up. You can see these now, Brian. So the House managers, they photoshopped in a check mark, which we talked about. But again, we were just getting the evidence that it was occurring live. Bring it back up there, Tokunawan.
They photoshopped
twice. They photoshopped the verification badge.
That's outrageous.
That girl said, no, I was never verified. I was never verified. And they did it to try and add some veracity to their claim, saying like, look, this comes from an official account, because they, a lot of their sources, if you guys read the brief, and it's all available at loudwithcrowder.com, it's Washington Post op-eds, it's tweets from people who don't even have a profile picture, and this was submitted as evidence, so they said, well, you know what, we need to add an official Twitter verification badge twice.
And worse than that, it was articles written about hearsay from somebody who might have been in the room, and this is what they were told happened in another room. Well, that's just like, are you serious?
Yeah, but this is the media. This is the media. Basically, they are not interested in the truth. They are interested in your attention. They are the giant gossip queens.
Right.
That's what they are.
But then they want to silence this media.
They make money off the fight between Wokeville and MAGAville. And if you can just accentuate those differences and then just come up with ways to create a division, like, you can just come up with any story. Did you hear that Biden's people want to merge China and America? They're calling it Chimerica.
Well, they do. They do want to do
and
that.
They do.
It's called the World Health Organization.
Yes.
Did you see the World Health Organization said that they should be the ones to examine the cases in America America.
Right.
We should figure out the spread in America.
Okay,
no, you commie crap bags. How about that?
Go screw
no.
yourselves.
China pays your bills.
Yeah, China, exactly. And by the way, what about Taiwan? Oh, I lost the Skype call. I didn't hear
the
can't
question.
hear you.
Here's another one. David Schoen showed a picture of Jamie Raskin. This one is just so stupid.
Yeah.
Because it just the issue here is it just shows that the media and their Democratic crony politicians have no fear of accountability whatsoever.
Right.
Because these can easily be fact-checked by people like us. They can't be fact-checked by the opposing legal counsel because you haven't submitted the evidence to them. But Jamie Raskin, he showed a picture of him looking at 2 tweets where the dates had been altered from January 2021 to January 2020.
Very concerned.
He looks very. He looks like a detective. Do you think? Let me just play devil's advocate.
Let me show that picture again. Look at that. That's a guy who knows that he's lying. He's like, all right, you're going to Photoshop this? No one will tell. You forgot to remove today's paper.
I mean, I will say, since this is a conservative program.
Oh, come on. Don't do the devil's advocate.
No, let's just.
All right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I do feel like Trump could have been a little bit more helpful when they were sieging the Capitol. Mr. President, they're attacking the Capitol, and he was like, I know. Don't. I mean, you know what I mean? They stole the election. It's true, and they hate you and me, and they want to kill your children. But go home.
What is he supposed to? I don't understand what he's supposed to do aside from his tweet that he sent out immediately, and then the video saying "Go home, patriot." And this actually brings us to another point where they selectively. Well, actually, there are a couple of things.
Yeah.
So the impeachment managers. This was one that I saw that nobody else had seen, and they'd done it with a few clips. We couldn't find all of them. They presented this montage, right? And they presented montages of other people who were committing these acts, you know, and then they would just put a Trump tweet over it.
Yeah.
Like that would say,
that was the
stop
motivation
the steal.
behind it,
Or they would just show a video of a rally. I don't know. They'd like pick someone and be like, hey, look, here's a white supremacist and here's a Donald Trump tweet. Well, yeah, because you put it in as an overlay.
Association.
It has nothing to do. I was like, wait, are they putting that in at first? I thought they wouldn't be this blatant with their lying, right? Are they just putting that over because Donald Trump retweeted that video? No. This is what they did. Just look, this is how they presented images and video and just added Donald Trump tweet over it.
Donald Trump did not attend that rally, but he made sure to make clear his supporters throughout the day.
It has nothing to do. We have just begun to fight. And they're like, see, he means fight physically with the Proud Boys.
At 8:47 a.m., he sent out a tweet. We have just begun to fight.
Just begun. Someone arrest the Carpenters.
Yes.
And Donald Trump's allies, who spoke at the rally, carried on his message of the stolen election and the importance of fighting. All right,
that's enough. I can't watch her. She's going to make me sick. That's enough. We don't need to see the rest of the clip. That's okay. It's amazing to me that they just go, look at this, a Donald Trump tweet over something that, Donald Trump wasn't in the same city. He wasn't anywhere near it. He had nothing to do with it. He didn't retweet it, but we're just going to put a tweet over that. I rest my case, Your Honor. Here's another one. The managers, they select. So now we're getting to some selective editing, and then we'll get to some other issues where they actually politicized and profited off of the death of Officer Swicknick. And we'll get to that. New York Times had to retract it, but they never actually issue a statement of retraction. They just put a little tiny retraction at the bottom of the article, which is kind of a big deal when you're lying about a death. You guys know the speech where he said, make your voices heard peacefully, patriotically. They edited that clip so that you didn't hear peacefully or patriotically.
That's important.
They edited that out. Yeah. And it was so egregious that even Snopes had to admit that this is true, that they actually selectively edited it. Do we have it now, the speech?
Yeah, I just got to pull it.
Okay, let's pull up the speech. You can pull up Snopes there, Token Allen? Yeah. So we have Snopes and Newsweek, and you know that they don't want to admit anything as far as the Democrats screwing up. So if they have to admit it's true that they selectively edited out of context, it must be really bad. And here's the clip for people who didn't see it, the actual speech from Donald Trump in its context.
You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Here's the thing. If you have your Trump lexicon, you know that peacefully means violently and patriotically means lynch black people. So now you understand.
That's what I heard.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Dog whistle.
Wow, I didn't see that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm a victim. this
and then
editing.
he tweeted it out. What is wrong with me today? He tweeted out later. He said, "Hey, you have to go home." And then in a video saying, "All right, you need to go home now." So I'm saying, like, what more can you do other than ensuring peacefully, patriotically? And what the House Democrats, what they said was, he only said that twice, whereas he used words like fight or stolen election 11 times. This is what this is all about, okay? They want everyone, and it's the YouTube policy where you can talk about voter fraud. You can talk about voter fraud occurring, but you cannot say that voter fraud had any effect on the outcome of any American election, or you will get banned. This is about banning people for wrong speak. They want you to believe that if you are suspicious of 150,000 vote dump, 99% for Biden in the middle of the night, that if you're suspicious of that, because it's never occurred anywhere else in the modern democratic world, that you are encouraging violence. They are punishing Donald Trump because they are saying that talking about election irregularities is effectively a call to violence, and they want you to know that you could be criminally charged if you are in any way suspicious of the election. So I don't know if
you'll be cyber assassinated, won't you?
I guess what they're going to Minority Report Jimmy Carter, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, because they sent letters to the parent company of Dominion saying our election security is at risk. Jimmy Carter said it was the greatest threat to our national security and to democracy was the digitizing of our elections. He wrote a letter outlining it with his commission, his Election Integrity Commission. So this isn't a partisan issue.
Well, and Donald Trump said something I think that was instructive there too. He not only did he say peacefully and make your voices heard patriotically, the entire summer he had been saying we are the party of law and order. He ran on that.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to pull clips of what he said during a tumultuous time, we are the party of law and order. We are above this, all this stuff. Party of law and order, right? I'm going to make sure law and order is taken care of. He said people that were slated illegally. He believed that states did things that were illegal, and therefore their slate of electors were not legitimate.
Right.
That's it. He can be wrong.
Right.
About that. Right.
Well, but
that is. I agree. But I'm saying he has a right to be wrong.
Right. He has a right to be wrong.
Pennsylvania did something
wrong.
At no point could that's not inciting.
At no point could you. Donald Trump didn't lie about anything.
No.
Donald Trump believes what half of the country believes, that there are voting irregularities, that when you look at what happened in the election, this has never happened before, that more, and these are all verifiable facts, that more election laws were changed in this last election than any election preceding it, that for some reason we still don't have the balance sheets, right? We still don't have the voter rolls balanced.
The Democrats were using the exact same language in 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
And they held on to it for, was it 3 years? How much did that Mueller investigation cost?
Yeah.
They were using the same kinds of verification, language, and whether or not these were lawfully vetted, whether the Secretary of State violated laws. You can hear it.
Yeah.
So it's
only
just
in their case they didn't. In their case they didn't, because it wasn't. They refused to certify some of these Democrats. People don't remember that. They would say, "I refuse to certify," and Joe Biden was like, "No, all right, the debate is over." The difference is there weren't more voting laws changed than ever in the history of the country. There's a reason that you don't allow mail-in voting without identification in some places.
Right.
In some places, you don't even have to have a valid address, though in some places you do. And that's why we have dozens of addresses where we've actually taken pictures with today's newspaper in Nevada, and we'll be showing that on YouTube because legally I have been told that I can show that on air because we personally visited these locations. I can make the claim that I can't make the claim that, hey, I have a sheet of thousands of votes that are bullshit votes, but I can say this one vote is a bullshit vote, and I've got about 40 of those. So this is from Sicknick. They issued an update. They said he was beaten by rioters at the Capitol, right?
With a fire hydrant.
Right. So the update is new information has emerged regarding the death of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick that questions the initial cause of this death provided by officials close to Capitol Police. The original article reported Sicknick died after being beaten by a fire extinguisher. Here's the New York Times original article. I will read you, and I quote, "Mr. Sicknick was struck with a fire extinguisher, according to 2 law enforcement officials. He returned to his division office and collapsed. He was taken to a local hospital where he succumbed to his injuries." Then they also give a very detailed report of his injuries, right? This was on January 8th.
And this is the Times.
This is the Times.
Times?
Yeah. Okay. With a bloody gash in his head, Mr. Sicknick was rushed to the hospital and placed on life support. Okay, so now you see their update. New information has emerged. Can you bring that back, Lily? There was a quote where they actually corrected the article, not just the update. But here's also what's really sinister here is they gave details. That they didn't have.
Yeah.
They couldn't have, and they lied about. Sicknick he was not immediately rushed to the hospital and placed on life support. He actually texted his brother. He went back and texted his brother after the riot. Right here we have it. There are copies of the text. Sicknick had texted them Wednesday night to say while he had been pepper sprayed, he was in good spirits. So where did the New York Times come up with a rush to life support and bloody gash? And I think that the New York Times, that's the update, but I think their actual retraction shows that he was not hit with a fire extinguisher. They are now saying there's no corroborating evidence that he was hit with a fire extinguisher.
You would know if you got hit with a fire extinguisher.
Right.
Yeah.
You think you would know. And you think that the people, the coroners would know.
Yeah. But I heard bear spray. Bear spray's foamy.
Yeah, bear spray is not fun.
Yeah, if you said, if you're like Brian, you can choose between getting beaten with a fire extinguisher or killed by bear spray.
Well, you can't get killed by bear spray.
He didn't get killed by it.
After a while, I suppose, if you sprayed enough.
Just keep it like, well, that's at that point. That's
then you had me in the corner.
That's drowning at that point.
Well, yeah.
It's like my wife with the raid if there's a spider.
I'm saying, if I had a
cheering
choice,
her on, too.
I take the fire extinguisher.
You think they would look like this? This is one of those things where how do you play the game of telephone with this inaccurate information?
Yeah.
It would take, when he gets to the hospital, which wasn't right away because he texted his brother and his family, it would take one person, someone going, we have right here a fire extinguisher death. Oh, I don't even know how to categorize that. Well,
but I'm also saying
the blanket. Yeah, I don't see a strike anywhere. It seems like I would see a blow to the head from a fire extinguisher if that's what killed him.
Yeah.
His eyes are irritated.
Yeah, you'd also know if you got pepper sprayed or bear sprayed. It's hard to text through the tears.
Well, he did text though. He did say he was pepper sprayed.
That's what I'm saying.
But he didn't include hit with a fire extinguisher.
Right.
If my wife was both pepper sprayed and hit with a fire extinguisher, and she only texted me, I got pepper sprayed, but I'm fine, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why didn't you tell me about the fire extinguisher to the head? Because that seems like relevant information. Well, it's only relevant in the sense that the New York Times made it up.
Yeah. Well, and that's the larger narrative here is that we're being lied to about these things. They're trying to get you to respond. They're trying to provoke an emotion from us and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they beat somebody to death."
Incite?
I said that's not incite.
What did you say?
Provoke.
This is the problem.
Well, that's not better. You can't use that either, Gerald. You can't say those words.
You can. Provoke is a different word than incite.
You can't say provoke. You can't say patriotically. You can't say peacefully.
No.
And you can't say colored people.
Well, what do I say if I mean peacefully? What does Dems speak for peaceful? Is it riot?
What you say is nothing.
You say nothing, but silence is violence, and now we have a problem.
Now we have a problem.
Now we have a problem.
I don't know
What do I do? If I don't speak out, I'm a white supremacist, and if I say peacefully and patriotically, you put me on trial.
You become an anti-racist. How many times do I have to say it?
How do I become an anti-racist?
You get out, and I told you get out there with a sign and figure out what you're going to write on the sign. It can't be that heavy. With a hockey stick behind it, you're violent.
But then they tell you to sit down and shut up. Sit down and shut up and let me tell my story. It's like, okay, all right, but no one listens to me because I can't elevate my black voice. Well, I was trying to make your case for you. Shut up.
Yeah. It's tough.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.